Hello! Today I want to show you my 5 favorite horror DVDs. Simply because I didn't really have any other ideas for a Saturday video this week. I should really try to talk more slowly. In any case, so if you have any suggestions concerning Saturday video ideas, then, don't be afraid to tell me because I'm looking for new ideas. In other news, you've probably, if you watch my videos more often, you've maybe already seen it in my video from last Monday, the review video. Then I bought a new potted plant, which is just a new thing in my background over here. Simply because I just wanted something more interesting here and I like plants and I just wanted a new one. And this one really has nice colors and it just has a nice contrast with my wall. Talking is difficult. It has a nice contrast with my wall. I think it's a croton. I don't know, I'm not sure. It only said the Latin name and it sounded like something that should be in soup. But yeah, in any case, it's a really nice plant. I like it, and I've also bought 2 mini cactuses, but they are not in view, so that's not really all that interesting. But they are really adorable. In any case, yeah. So this week I wanted to show you my 5 horror DVDs. These aren't necessarily my favorite horror movies overall, because these just happen to be ones that I actually have on DVD. Mostly, it's usually, I really love horror movies, but mostly I watch them on YouTube actually. Mostly the Asian horror movies, because I haven't seen them yet. But I used to buy a lot of horror DVDs back, when I actually watched a lot of DVDs. And I usually bought them just because they were on sale. I hadn't seen them before and I just, wanted to see them. So yeah, basically I have a whole lot of horror DVDs. A whole lot of DVDs overall, really. They're over there. But in any case, these are my 5 favorite ones. So yeah, let's get started. The first one is Ghost Ship. Well, I'm trying to tell you what the movie is about without spoiling anything, so I hope I sort of succeed in that. It's about a crew of a ship who, I don't know what it's called in English, but they salvage ships that have like sunk or are just abandoned on sea or oceans, whatever. And they encounter or get told of, I can't remember. Either way, they end up going to a ship that's just floating around on the ocean, completely abandoned, which is rather weird, of course. It's a big cruise ship, and then they find out that there's something terribly, terribly wrong there. It's a really fun movie. It's not one of those movies with a really thick plot or really good story behind it, I think at least. But it is a really fun movie. It has nice effects, it has nice moments, and it's just a really fun movie to just randomly watch and not really have to pay all that much attention to. It's just a really fun movie. And then there is Constantine, which is also one of my favorite movies, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't be mentioning it. It's one of my favorites for 2 reasons. One, I really like Keanu Reeves. And also, it's just, I like the story behind it, and it's more of like, it's not just horror, it's like thriller, action movie type of thing. I mean, the special effects I think are really awesome, and the story is just really nice. And, well, nice. The story is horrific, but in a good way. And yeah, I just really like it. And yeah, basically that was a very useless explanation, I think. Oh, by the way, what it's about a guy, Constantine, who can see demons or dead people, either one of the two. And yeah, then things happen and a woman comes to him and she needs help and then things happen. I really can't say more without spoiling the entire movie, but it's a really fun movie. Then the next one is actually more of a thriller than an actual horror movie. It's called Have Light. And yeah, it's about a woman who, she's a writer and then her child dies because they have like a sort of, they have water behind her house and her child drowns in that. Which is really sad, and then she, which is not a spoiler by the way, it's basically just the start of the movie. And that's the whole reason why she travels to a island in, I think it was Scotland, I'm not sure. I think the actual lighthouse they used in the movie was in Wales, but I think the movie set it in Scotland. In any case, she moves to some place with a lighthouse. And yeah, she just wants to go there just to sort of deal with the death of her child and to like, find the inspiration to start writing again. And there she meets a lighthouse keeper called Angus, and yeah, then weird things start to happen. It is a thriller. The ending is, by the way, really, really surprising. It turns out that there are actually supernatural things going on as well. Yeah, and the ending is just really, really surprising, but this is just one of my favorites because it also has a very good story behind it and it has a really good atmosphere. Also, I just love lighthouses, so that's also a thing, but yeah, I just really love this movie. Because it's just a really good movie. And then another one I really like is Dead Silence. This is, I think, one of those movies that are like, they're fun as long as you don't pay too much attention to details, in the sense that it has a bunch of plot holes, and also some of the things in the movie are like a bit too like obvious that they're trying to show you something. So yeah, I mean, if you see the movie, you'll get what I mean. But I do actually like the movie. It has a lot of jump scares, which I always like in a horror movie. It's one of those movies that you don't really have to think about when watching it. Like, you don't really have to like watch it. You can just watch it and meanwhile, I don't know, paint your nails, put on makeup, vacuum clean your house, whatever. And still just, you know, be on track with the movie. And yeah, it's just really fun story, really well fun. It's like one of those ghost stories that children tell each other to scare each other, you know. Which is basically one of the plot things in the film, actually, because the guy who's the main character has to go back to the village where he grew up, where there's this story, and everyone believes in it, of Mary Shaw, who was a ventriloquist, I think that's how it's pronounced, one of those people with those dolls that move their mouth and then they speak for the dolls without moving their own mouth. Yeah, which is pretty creepy to begin with, but she's actually murdered. She got pardon. She got murdered. I just almost got my phone piercing copy on my teeth. In any case, she got murdered. And now she's a ghost and just tries to murder people. And yeah, that's what he has to deal with. And yeah, there's a lot of jump scares. And the ending is actually really surprising. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have really a complicated plot or anything. But the ending is still very surprising. And I was really like, when I watched this for the first time, I was like, oh, okay. It's really surprising, which I always like, because, you know, that is just something I think, like, with a lot of horror movies, I just instantly, like, know what's going on, and with this movie, actually, right until the end, I was like, you know, you're on one track, and then it turns out to be something else. So, yeah, in any case, I really like this movie also. And then the last one on this list of 5 movies is Mirrors, which is actually the only one that I find truly terrifying. The first time I watched it is actually the reason why I love this movie so much. The first time I watched it, I actually covered the mirrors in my room for 3 nights in a row. Because it was so very creepy. And yeah, that's really why I love this movie. I mean, you know, you watch horror movies to get scared. So that's just, you know, the main goal of it. And yeah, originally I only bought this DVD because it has Kiefer Sutherland in it. And I think he's a really good actor. So yeah, that's why I wanted to see this movie. And then I watched it and I was like, Jesus, this is the most terrifying movie I've ever seen. So yeah, which is why I continue to like watch it at least once per year now. Yeah, it's about a guy who used to be a cop, I think, and then something went wrong. I think he accidentally shot someone, I'm not sure. Either way, he needs to stop being a cop and go do something else, and so he becomes a night guard in a old building which used to be a shopping mall, but it burned down. However, before it was a shopping mall, it was a insane asylum, which is always a good start for a movie. And yeah, some horrifying things just starts to happen there. Just as the DVD says, like demonic and murderous ghosts are in the mirrors, and they follow him home, which is not a very nice thing to have happening to you. So yeah, a lot of things happen and a lot of horrific things happen. Also, just yeah, basically it has one of those like effects also that like really gross things happen to a person when they're getting murdered by the ghosts. And you know, if you don't like gore, then don't watch it. But I thought it was pretty fascinating in a horrifying way. Yeah, and it just like this movie just has it all. Like it has jump scares, it has a good story, it has good special effects, at least in my opinion. I'm not a movie critic, so I really don't know what I'm talking about, but at least I like it. And yeah, it's basically just one of those movies that really like keeps haunting you. Like it's not one of those movies that you watch and then it's like, hey, that was a fun movie, and you forget about it. This movie stays in memory. It really does. At least for me it did. So yeah, that's why this is one of my favorites also. And yeah, so those are basically my 5 favorite horror DVDs. If you have any other suggestions, by the way, of which horror movies you really like, then I'd really like to hear it, because I want to watch more horror movies that I haven't seen yet. And yeah, there's just so many, and I don't want to waste time watching ones that aren't particularly scary. So yeah, in any case, I hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye! And then on to the other side, I'm gonna start out with these things. These are all from eBay. So basically they're all from China or Hong